Alright, thank you and welcome. Good morning. Being on 14th of January 2025, the second being on Tuesday, we discuss our second pillar about the Change for African campaign, which is the potential that Africa has. We will be diving deeper to understanding the potential that Africa has. Join me in the next about 6 minutes as I take you through our second episode under the Change for Africa campaign. Our topic of the day is the human capital that Africa has. So I will give you a few statistics, just about two statistics that about the human capital that Africa has. Sorry. So Africa has the youngest population globally, whereby over 60% of the population in Africa are under the age of 25. This is a very huge human capital that Africa is lying on, and it is a capital that has a very great potential. This capital can be two-sided. It can be a coin which has two sides. This capital of Africa, which is the human capital, this capital can either be a curse or can either be a blessing. At the moment, the resource or the human capital in Africa, it's a curse. Not a curse because maybe it should be so, but it's a curse because of our pillar number one. There's a problem with our pillar number one that we discussed yesterday about governance. But since today we'll be discussing about the potential, I'll just tell you that what if our potential as Africa will be unleashed, and more so on the particular topic of today, which is about the human capital. That's a potential that Africa has. The human capital that is untapped, that is a potential that is yet to be tapped. It's an untapped potential. So what will practically happen if this human capital is tapped, or this potential of Africa is tapped? Potential in simple terms means that you have the ability, or something has the ability, but then there's something holding this thing at a certain level. So our human capital, which is very huge as Africa as a continent, is being held somewhere, and it is being held not for good reasons, but for some reasons that are not meant for growth, but for some reasons that are meant to make Africa to remain poor. So this is what if our potential is tapped under the human capital, which is a resource that we have. This is what will happen. This is a force whereby it can drive the following: the innovation. These people can drive innovation. These people can drive entrepreneurship. These people can, once these people are skilled, and what we need to do is to make sure that there is need for education for our young population in Africa. There is need for jobs, because it is very disappointing today that we still have people who cross over the Red Sea to go the other side of Europe, in the northern parts of Africa, and all the other borders of Africa, trying to go and search for green pastures over there, while we have our own green pastures. But the only thing that we are yet to do is to make sure that we water our green pastures so that they can span. So there is need for education for our young people in Africa. And then aside from education, we have those who have gotten a chance to be educated, also a good number. They also need for creation of job opportunities, and there is also need for us to, so that once we have education, once we have our young people being educated, and those who have already been educated now getting a chance to get the job opportunities, then we will be harnessing. This will help us to harness the potential that we have, because it is a very huge population that if we do not watch, this population or this generation, the younger generation, will definitely fail. And that should be the last thing that can ever happen to a continent like Africa. We have the potential, we have the ability, we can make it. But then the problem comes here. When we say that creating job opportunities. When you say that the digital skills that our people need to have, when you say about education, the issue now, that's why I say that these pillars about the Change for Africa campaign, they do like connect to each other, because the first one is governance. Once you have a good governance, then you have good education system. So that is when now, under our pillar number 2, the potential that Africa has, that I'm speaking about today, when I say that we need good education or employment opportunities, this also will immensely or hugely depend on the first pillar about the Africa campaign. So what I'm basically saying is that we have immense potential as Africa, especially our human resource, our human capital. That is something that we should cherish so much, our human capital. We have a very, very great human capital that has the ability, but the only thing that they need, it is that good governance, so that they can get a good environment, they can get the requisite conditions in which they can carry on their business. So we are saying that this will not be possible unless we focus, unless we always remember our pillar number 1, the governance we want. The governance we want, we do not want, I said before, and I will repeat it again, we do not want to rush to the governance we want, but we want to see that we first have the unity among the African youth. Then when the moment these youth have united, that is when now we bring our ideas, this is the problem, and then we work towards solving that problem. And all right, that marks the end of our show. They always be shown that way, just telling you what should be happening. As we progress, we'll be having more and more ideas. So keep it here, and let's meet tomorrow as we discuss the resources that Africa owns. I've been the leader and founder, Change for Africa campaign, Prof. Alistair Thomas Bega. God bless you, and have a nice day. I'm going to church, so God bless you. Love.